So good morning, everyone. Before starting the session, I'm just waiting for our Honorable VC Sir and the keynote speaker, Ms. Dr. R. Srinivas, to join. So I request you all to let's wait for 5 more minutes and we can start the session as soon as they join. Thank you.
Craft technology. We are also part of the bigger university and part of very so close to this structure. Structure of art and architecture. We tie up with the University Arts College Birdbuds in London. Students go there at the end of their foundation course for a 3-4-week summer program. We also have a tie-up with Kim Mok University of Technology in Thailand. That time institution which offers hospitality management is industrial training of the student, industry exposure, and switch.
People from Nestle, and that is how the kids here are growing.
The faculty here is amazing. They answer all your doubts and your queries, and they help you along the way. They'll teach you in and out of the industry completely. School of Engineering Technology has a 20-year-old legacy. The main USPs of the schools are experiential learning, hands-on training, in addition to their learning about the basics of engineering. We have collaborations with world-renowned universities, University of West of England, Bristol, UK. We also have industrial collaborations with UCDS where we are running our flagship program in BTech and cybersecurity. From disciplinary to
When is VC Sir joining? Preeta ma'am?
Sir will join in 10 minutes. So he must be joining now. I think we can start. We have 24 participants.
Let's go back and introduce you to the history of our university. In 1989, the School of Art and Architecture was established. Then in 2000, the School of Engineering and Technology was established along with School of Business. In 2010, we established School of Design. In 2014, we established School of Law and Sciences. In 2015, we saw the establishment of Wales Hotel and Tourism. Let's go back and introduce you to the history of our university. In 1989, the School of Art and Architecture was established. In 2000, the School of Engineering and Technology was established along with School of Business. In 2010, we established School of Design. In 2014, we established School of Law and School of Health Sciences. In 2015, we saw the establishment of Wales Hotel and Tourism Business School. And in 2018, our most recent establishment was School of Planning and Development. All the 8 schools are a recent part of Sushant University. Now let us give you a tour of our campus. Today, in the era of constant change, education isn't just about learning facts. It requires a blend of practical experience and training to nurture talent. We at Sushant University promise you the education that is not limited to the textbooks. Here we offer you an experience and pure joy of practical knowledge. I, the Vice Chancellor, Dr. K.S. Kumar, welcome you all to this capital of knowledge. The guidance of Padma Shri M.M. Rana, the late fellow of Frank Lloyd Group of Institutions, came under the Ansar University. In 2020, we changed our name to Sushant University. Sushant University has been awarded the National Education Excellence Award for Best Private University in North India 2017, along with CSR Excellence in Education for 2 consecutive years, 2017 and 2018. School of Art and Architecture at Sushant University is the flagship school which has been consistently ranked #1 private architecture school in India. At Sushant University, the course curriculum is designed as per the industry demand, which makes our students industry ready. There are 30 roles with enormous network of alumni courses all over. We offer BH program and 4 master's programs. Programs are accredited by Council of Architecture. We're also positioning our school internationally, so we work very closely with universities and department.
I feel architecture is what is learned in conversations with our teachers, with the faculty, with other people in the same field.
We recently had the International Planning and Architecture Conference and invited a lot of international and national pieces to our college, where we were able to interact with them one-on-one. People of course, this campus is well known for its craft, but beyond craft, what we are now excited about is that there is an element of craft and technology. We are also part of the bigger university and part of very so close to the structural art. We tie up with the University Arts College Worldwide London students, so they take their foundation course for a 3-4 week summer program. We also have a tie-up with King Mongkut University of Technology in Thailand. Backland Hotel and Tourism Business School is a premium
institution which offers hospitality management education to the students. Our USP for this program is industrial training of the students right from the first year to the fourth year, giving them a lot of industry exposure and experience.
But their course is for 4 years as of now in India, and we are the only ones who are offering a specialty course in the 4th year. And here at the campus, we have got about 4 running kitchens, 2 restaurants, the one that's supposed to be the new one that
So, good morning to everyone. Since now we have our keynote speaker, Dr. R. Srinivas, so we can start the session now.
Do I have to start, Varsha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
good morning. Good morning, all the students, faculty members of.
We were just waiting for you, sir.
Yeah, I have joined now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We can start, sir.
and we work
I think some video clip is.
Okay, I think our Vice Chancellor sir is also there. So, Varsha, let's start with the welcome note and then
Yeah,
continue.
sure.
Yeah, sure.
So a very warm welcome to everyone. Today we are hosting our first international conference on inclusive and resilient cities for safe and sustainable future. Thank you all very much for being part of it as the co-patron, patron, chairperson, keynote speaker, as well as the participants who all have contributed their original manuscripts and have shared their knowledge on the relative field and enlightened everyone. Thank you so very much. First of all, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce our dear director, Professor Preetha Ravishri Sajan. She is also chairperson of the conference. She is an architect cum urban planner with specialization in housing, and she has more than 21 years of practical and teaching experience, both at national and international level. She started her career as, sorry to interrupt, Ria, are we recording the session?
Yes.
Started?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. She started her career as a researcher assistant at a renowned architectural and planning school at Hyderabad, but soon moved to the application side by working for some of the top architectural and multinational firms in Hyderabad. She started working independently from 2005 on various interior architectural and planning projects in Kerala, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. Some of her planning projects that she had undertaken during her career dealt with area planning, zonal planning, disaster mitigation projects, and tourism circuit plans, primarily focusing on the socio-economic development of local communities. She has also worked in London for a few years, which helped instill international work and teaching ethics. She has taught at Premium Design School in London and worked with local architects from London. She is a trained BIM professional and has certification in differentiating for learning pedagogy. She has been associated with Sushant University since 2011. She has an extensive experience in teaching bachelor's and master's students for architecture and planning. She is currently pursuing her PhD, which is already crossed the pre-final stage now. So soon she will be awarded a doctor's degree. And her area of research is affordability model with main construct being livability. So very warm good morning and welcome, ma'am. So I would like you to please address the gathering. Over to you, Preetha, ma'am.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Varsha. Thanks for the lovely introduction. Sorry, dear audience, for we got delayed by 20 minutes now, so we really apologize for the delay. But like our conference title, that it is on inclusive and resilient cities. we have also been showcasing how resilient we are and all the challenges we can overcome and we can move forward. So today it's a wonderful opportunity, and it's like, talking a little bit about Sushant University and School of Planning and Development. It's one of the newest or the latest school in Sushant University. We were a part of planning school, was initially part of School of Art and Architecture, which has a legacy of more than 30 years. And our program started under the School of Art and Architecture in 2013, bachelor's program. And in 2019, we became an independent school. And then COVID happened. But even though we were in our infancy stage, we have been able to achieve a lot of milestones. We got recognition from ITPI. We are able to develop a lot of industry connect. Today's conference highlights that fact. Our keynote speakers showcases the fact that our connect with the industry is so strong that we have international people and national people from the government and the private sector participating here as keynote speaker, as our moderator. So this all highlights our achievements, and our curriculum also has strengthened with our collaboration with the Harvard Business School and Center for Science and Environment. So we are progressing and we are developing, and this conference highlights the fact that we are growing, and with all the participants participating in this event showcases how our growth and our future growth. And it also shows how inclusive and resilient we have become. So thank you all of you for joining us. And let me start the event by introducing our Vice Chancellor, Sir, who is a visionary by himself, and he has a researcher. He's bringing in the research culture into our university too. So without taking much time, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Rakesh Ranjan. He's a graduates of BITS Pilani with over 30 years of teaching and research experience at Indian and foreign university in and is a leading academic administrator. Before joining as Vice Chancellor at Sushant University, Gurgaon in May 2022, Professor Ranjan has served as Vice Chancellor of Himgiri Z University, Dehradun for nearly 6 years. Dr. Ranjan has co-authored several books entitled Renewable Energy Source and Emerging Technologies, PHI, India, Signals and System, published by McGraw-Hill, Singapore, Tata McGraw-Hill, New Delhi, India, Random Process and Queen Theory and Circuit and Signals, published by Pearson Patents Halls, Malaysia, Cohom Outlines on Signal and System, published by Tata McGraw-Hill, New Delhi. His latest book, Environment, Science and Engineering, was published by Narosa Publishing House. Dr. Ranjan has guided 11 PhD and contributed 117 research papers in international journals and conferences. His research indices are H-Index 26, I-10 Index 49, and over 2,900 citations. He has served as International Program Committee and Technical Committee member for various international conferences and journals, and has completed many sponsored projects. Dr. Rakesh Ranjan has the distinction of being listed in Marquis Who's in the World for Science and Technology and conferred Siksha Ratan at Indian Habitat Center, New Delhi. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for joining us. And I would like you to say a few words to our today's participant. Thank you.
Thank you, Preeta ma'am. Wonderful to see all of you. Thank you, Varsha, and all the participants, dignitaries who are joining, the researchers who are going to present. I think this is the first of its kind conference which School of Planning is organizing. And the theme of the conference today, which we have, is sustainable and resilient cities. Is so important for us. Though I am from the engineering background, but I understand the importance of planning cities in a way that it is self-sustainable, resilient to the changes. And we all know that India is now moving towards the smart cities. Smart cities we are moving because there has been exodus of the people from the villages to find a better livelihood, and they come to the cities. So the cities so far has grown haphazardly and without having any proper plan. Now the government of India and the state government has started giving due importance that all the growth in the metro cities has to be planned, and it should be self-sustained, and it should be coherent as well. Because if you remember, you will find that sometimes in the cities, the BSNL used to dig the road, and after sometimes the PWD will come and dig and started cleaning the drain and started preparing for it. So whole of the year and throughout the year, the planning is so badly managed, and without the knowledge of each organ of the government organizations, that most of the times the people staying in the cities were facing problem. You see, during the rainy season also, in Gurgaon where we are sitting, I think one day rain creates so much of havoc. You go to Mumbai, that has become a normal phenomena. So now it is up to the planner and architect who has to take care of all the eventualities, which probably based on the historical data you can have, and the forecast probably you can do due to industrialization. That the sea level is also increasing day by day, and due to the global warming, the temperature in the summer and is going up, and in the winter it is again on the lower side. And you have to also plan, considering the growth of the GDP, probable exodus which may take place from one smaller C grade city to B grade, and B grade to A grade, or C grade to A grade. So I think I'm sure that all the aspects probably which I have talked, and which probably is may have been foreseen by the researcher in this particular field, you will be talking about. And I am equally sure that at the end of the conference, some propositions will come out which will be beneficial, and probably we can forward to the authority government of India about the recommendations which this conference is giving. At the end, I would like to wish good luck and thanks the organization, Preeta Madam, Varsha, and the whole team who have been working tirelessly to make this conference possible. And I would like to once again thanks to all researchers who are there today to participate and share their findings, propositions. I would also like to thank the chief guest which we have today for finding his valuable time. And I'm sure that we are going to get enlightened from his vision. Thank you very much. All the best and good luck.
Thank you so much, sir. So now I will take your permission and inaugurate the session with the lamp lighting. I would like to invite Dr. Pradeep Sarkar as well as Dr. R. Srinivas to be the part of the ceremony. So now I would like to introduce our chief guest of the session. Good morning, Dr. Srinivas. Although he doesn't need any introduction, but still I'll just briefly read about his accomplishments across so many years. Dr. R. Srinivas has been working in Town and Country Planning Organization since 1991 and currently heading the Metropolitan and Urban Territories Division. He has done his postgraduate in Urban and Regional Planning from IIT Kharagpur and professional Masters in Urban Planning and Management from ITC Netherlands. He has been instrumental in formulating guidelines for the scheme of urban infrastructure development in satellite towns, countermagnets for metropolitan cities, responsible for appraising the CDPs and DPRs for satellite towns under UIDSST scheme. He has also been involved in preparation of Urban and Regional Development Plan Formulation Guidelines, URDBFI 2014, and Model Building Bylaws 2016. He has represented TCPO in various committees, which is UTPEC, Town and Country Planning, Board of DNH, and DD. Working Group on 69th round of NSSO and Technical Appraisal Committee of CBULB under GENRUM and inter-ministerial committees. Recently, he has been nominated by Ministry of Urban Development as one of the director of board of directors of Smart City Ahmedabad Limited. He is also the member of Task Force on Ease of Doing Business for Construction Permit and played an important role in facilitating the improvement in ranking in construction permit. He has been very proactive on professional front, being Secretary Delhi Regional Chapter ITPI 2003-2005 and co-chairman Evaluation Committee ITPI 2006 till date, presently co-chairman. He has more than 30 publications in his credit. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Varsha, and thank you, organizers, faculty members, Vice Chairman, Vice Chancellor Sushant University, and other key dignitaries. I would like to, talk about the climate resilience, how we are going to work on that. I'm sure that students, faculty members must have seen the budget speech. The Honorable Finance Minister, she had mentioned, about urban planning, and this was the first time when urban planning was explicitly mentioned in the budget speech. And kindly go through the text. What she says that, she highlighted that in urban planning we should do away with the business as usual approach. Now there has to be paradigm shift, in urban planning to move towards planning for comprehensive goals of sustainability. Once you ensure sustainability, definitely the livability of city increases. Then you'll have to work on both climate as well as disaster resilience. And you must have also seen in the budget speech that there has been strong advocating of urban planning reforms. There are 6 urban planning reforms which have to be implemented by the state governments. And in fact, we have been working very hard. And let me also tell about which are these 6 urban planning reforms. One is, the modernization of building bylaws. I mean, now most of the million-plus cities have totally migrated to online building permission system, which is basically to bring in ease, in submission of, the building plans and the issuance of completion certificate. Now through modernization of building bylaws, what we are, advocating that the state government need to, revisit their building bylaws rather than putting too much of restrictions. You need to, promote the, development by removing the, the contradictions in terms of setbacks, ground coverage, promoting affordable housing, how you are going to leverage, through FSI, and also through transit-oriented development, you can, go for affordable housing. Then, yes, how you can really work for enhanced FSI through transit-oriented development. But at the same time, once you advocate, higher FSI, you should also have to have the detailed analysis of carrying capacity, whether cities will be able to absorb, additional population and also additional built-up area. It should not, lead to, if we are going for vertical development, but at the same time, it should commensurate with the upgradation of existing infrastructure. Now, yes, we have been, monitoring the progress of online building permission system. Most of the cities, especially million-plus cities, have migrated. As per information available with us, around 2,400, cities have migrated, including Mumbai and Delhi. They have also done a lot of, integration of no objection certificates. So earlier, when building plan approval used to take, a lot of time, 2 to 3 months. Now it's a matter of, few days. Now, second is, the transferable development rights. This is a very important reform which we are, advising the state government to incorporate the TDR policy in their master plan. And in fact, they can also, revisit their Town and Country Planning Act to incorporate the provisions of transferable development rights. And in fact, they have to come up, if it becomes the integral part of a master plan, it should clearly tell about the conservation zones and the redensification zones, how transferable development right can really, lead to, the reworking of the densities. The third important reform is local area plan and town planning scheme. Now, when we talk about the climate resilience or sustainable development, can we really localize? Can we really localize the sustainable development goal? That's very much important. So, realizing the intra-city disparities, every master plan, gets either you go for a greenfield township or for existing, cities, the master plans are being revised. So typically a town planner must be aware of the intra-city disparities, must be aware of which are the wards lacking the access to the basic facilities, both physical as well as social. So in order to appreciate and understand the intra-city disparities, we are advocating the area-based strategy. So area-based strategy has got two components. Local area plan, especially for the brownfield sites, whereas town planning scheme, you can prepare the scheme and implement the scheme in the urban fringe areas to ensure plan development. And the best example of town planning scheme is, Gujarat, where they have, ensured plan development through TPS in many cities. And of course, we are insisting, these are all, reforms to be undertaken, wherein state government, if they are able to implement, they will get a lot of, financial incentives. That also we have worked out. In the budget, the budgetary allocation, around 6,000 crore rupees have been made available. And it depends on the states. It's first come, first serve basis. For every reform, we have identified how much financial assistance would be available. Now, again, once you go for area-based strategy, now how local area plan, town planning scheme can ensure social equity? That's very much important, Now, let me also tell, we may say that, we may tell about the guidelines of local area plan, town planning scheme, but until you work, for preparing this to LAP and TPS, then only you'll be able to understand. But the biggest challenge will be how you are going to ensure social equity, both in terms of access to the basic facilities and also providing the affordable housing. Now, fourth important, reform is transit-oriented development. Government of India has, in principle, have taken the decision that all million-plus cities can go for, metro rail, and then the state government need to come up with a transit-oriented development policy. And if million-plus cities are going for metro rail, then they have to, come up with a transit-oriented development policy. Now, along the transit-oriented development, now that becomes a challenge, whether city is going to enhance the FSI, whether city is going to, come up with the mixed land use regulations around the transit corridor. And that's how, once you talk about sustainability, what I feel, when cities are going for TOD, can we really think of, model share in favor of public transport? MPD 2021 has discussed that it should be 80:20. So 80% of the commuters should depend on the public transport. So how far we will be successful, that has to be seen once, cities start adopting the transit-oriented development policy. Now, yes, of course, the theme of today's discussion is climate resilience. Now, this is very much important, that integration of blue and green infrastructure, that has been given a status of reform. Now, cities really will have to work on the status of rejuvenation plan. Now, let me also mention about the Amrit Sarovar Mahotsav. So till 15th August 2022, which we are going to commemorate our 75th anniversary of independence. Now, Honorable Prime Minister vision is that, I mean, he has given a very important statement, like, हम सब मिलकर एक काम करते हैं, हम संकल्प करें कि प्रतिवर्ष प्रतिपदा से अगले वर्ष प्रतिपदा तक हम हर जिले में 75 अमृत सरोवर बनाएंगे. That means every district should work on rejuvenating the existing water bodies. Can you have 75 water bodies? No, that's very much important when you talk about the indiscriminate extraction of groundwater, and that's what Niti Aayog, one of its reports, says that 20 million plus cities will run out of water. I mean, it's they have expressed a serious concern. So that's why, realizing the this sensitivity, the sensitive issue of rejuvenating the groundwater, cities will have to make effort. Now, what we have, actually advising the state government, as well as we have also, encouraged the schools of planning and architecture to encourage the students to take up the internship. Especially, once you talk about the rejuvenating the water bodies, you'll have to connect people with water bodies. Can you give me 1 minute? I have just 1 minute. I have to.
So please take the consent.
Yes, it's very much important. Once you talk about rejuvenating the water body, you have to connect people with the water bodies. I mean, bringing water bodies to focus. Every citizen should be aware of the adverse impact of indiscriminate groundwater extraction. Now, we also need to sensitize the people about the rich heritage of Indian water. A lot of water bodies, they have got both historical as well as cultural, significance. In the traditional, in the medieval towns also, I mean, the cities used to make effort to conserve water, especially if you go to the cities of Rajasthan, Gujarat. A lot of, step wells have been constructed, and the water conservation measures used to be taken. So now what we are doing under the Amrit Mission 2.0, that's a water-centric mission. Now, what a listing has been done for water bodies. The water bodies which have been maintained by the Archaeological Survey of India, and the water bodies which have been maintained by the urban local bodies. Now, we have been encouraging the students to to take up under the internship for rejuvenating the water bodies. Water bodies listing has been done, and it is up to the students. They can identify any water body, and they can work for strategies for rejuvenating the water body. So that's very much important. In fact, once you work for integration of blue and green infrastructure, you will also have to work for managing the urban floods, what VC Saab, he mentioned that, during the heavy downpour, virtually, the Gurgaon, the vehicle movement comes to standstill due to heavy flooding. So the cities also need to, work on strengthening the existing drainage network. And in fact, we have prepared, standard operating procedure for, urban flood. So a lot of cities are actually, making efforts, through GIS-based master plan. This is also one of the sub-scheme under the Amrit, which we have been monitoring. Almost, out of 500 Amrit cities, that means class 1 cities, 232 cities have, completed the mapping of, the different layers. So hopefully, once cities totally migrate to the GIS-based master plan, the drainage network will also accordingly be strengthened, so that we can really tackle the problems of urban flooding. Now, adequate funds will be available for, if cities are taking up the project for integrating the blue and green infrastructure. And again, let me tell you, with regard to, under the Amrit mission. So once you talk about strengthening the water bodies, 3,900 crore rupees over 5 years are available, for only rejuvenating the water bodies, wherein cities will have to prepare plan for integrating both blue and green and blue infrastructure. And under this, we are also, trying to develop a web GIS based application for mapping of urban water bodies. That's very much important. Cities must, make efforts to map all the water bodies. Then temporal data, including the land use, land cover with water spread dynamics will be available to the cities. Prototype, urban water information system. Now, this has been developed for 11 cities, but ultimately the aim is to, bring more and more cities under the urban water information system. The dossier will be prepared for almost 250 cities where you will get the information, spatial information you are going to get about the, the location of water bodies and what has been the temporal change. That's very much important. One has to ascertain whether the water bodies have really shrunk or they have been strengthened. So this will also give an opportunity once you do both temporal and spatial analysis. We can really develop strategies for water body rejuvenation. So target, for the next 5 years under the Amrit mission is to rejuvenate 1,000 water bodies. 1,000 water bodies, and that too 500 water bodies will have to be rejuvenated in the first year. That means till 2024, 31st August, the target is 500 water bodies. And this is thanks to, the vision of Honorable Prime Minister. He's again and again emphasizing that we need to take a lot of steps. So far, till say, 30th May, the progress has been 30 water bodies have already been sanctioned, 20 water bodies work has been completed. In fact, stormwater drain, when we talk about the urban flooding, 860 kilometers of stormwater drains have already been laid in different cities. And yes, under the Amrit portal, almost 12,000 water bodies have been identified and the information have been uploaded on the website. Now, this is, I had, since it has got direct bearing on the, the climatic, factors, that's why I spend a little bit more time. And let me also tell about the other reforms. The 6th reform is basically the, to grant exemption to public transport, from the commercial taxes. So this is also one of the move which central government is advocating, so that the burden on, to spend money on public transport gets reduced, and we have written to all the states to take necessary steps. So that's what if you are going to exempt these public transport from the paying commercial taxes, I think definitely the modal shift will be in favor of public transport. That's what, on an optimistic note, we are actually advocating this reforms. So thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity. I have to again go for another meeting, so I will just stop here, and thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to interact.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. You have always been an inspiration to us and a big help for the students. So on behalf of entire team of School of Planning and Development, I once again would like to thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, sir, I'll just take 2 minutes of yours to launch the book of proceedings for the conference today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, sir, we have published an ISBN number book for the conference proceeding, where we have received more than approximately 40 papers across India, as well as we have some papers from international also. So that is what we have. So today they will be presenting after this inaugural session. Everyone will move to their breakup rooms and they will be presenting as per their teams. So thank you once again. Now I would like to introduce our another keynote speaker. Dr. V. Suresh. Dr. V. Suresh was associated with IGBC and HUDCO for quite long time. Vasudevan Suresh is a civil engineer with over 53 years of professional experience in housing infrastructure, rural and urban development and built environment sectors. He has worked in Tamil Nadu Public Works Department, Bureau of Indian Standards, and was directly associated with the formulation of leading national standards and codes of NBC. He served HUDCO in various capacities for 23.5 years and was CMD till June 2002, during which period HUDCO registered all-around growth in housing and infrastructure finance with innovative options, establishing housing retail finance, development of appropriate technologies, application including national network of building centers, disaster mitigation and rehabilitation projects, and capacity building programs, which has been received well within the country and abroad. He has worked as a director of HIRCO projects, companies, and has also worked in various Government of India expert groups in housing, urban development, building technologies, disaster mitigation, and sustainable development. He has represented India and worked closely with UNCHS, UNIDO, UNDP, SAR, ADB, JBIC, KFW, USAID, and ADPC on various facts of sustainable and safe human settlements for different global context initiatives. He has received more than 15 distinguished awards in recognition with his work. He is a consultant to national and international agencies in sustainable human settlement development. He has a strong advocate of sustainable development and passionately pursue disaster-resistant, environment-friendly, ecology-appropriate and energy-efficient options in built environment and green building movements. He served as a chairman of IGBC, Policy and Advocacy Committee, and is now chairman of IGBC. He is currently working as a president, Good Governance India Foundation for Good Urban Governance Initiatives. So, Sir has some other engagements, so he is not personally present with us, but he has given his video recording, which we performed yesterday. So I will play his video recording, and he has a message for all the participants. So is my screen visible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll just play his video. Is the presentation visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, a happy good morning to you on the occasion of the ICIRC on this conference on inclusive and resilient cities organized by the Star School in a big way. And I'm so happy that I could join along with our Srinivas from DCPO in continuation of his wonderful address we just heard on theme number 1 and 2. And I'll be talking on the next two themes, which is also part of the whole event. The global transition 2030 report predicts India will be third largest inspection market behind the USA and China. And rapidly increasing mega cities in India and also the metro cities and also the largest cities will need a massive boost for national infrastructure and housing and building development. India is about 17% of the total global urban population. It's a very big number. More than 1/6 of the whole population is that. And by 2027, India will surpass China as the most populous country. You're all aware of that. And a lot of the initiatives that Government of India has taken for the urban transformation in a very large way. The Amrit was one of the finest initiatives started over there on the mission for reforms and urban transformation, which are on a 1.0 version for 500 cities, followed by a 2.0 version, which is going to cover all the regulated cities, about 3,500 or even more. And of course, the smart city vision for 100 cities makes available a very pointed amount of effort for dealing with the growth of the urban cities in a large way. The other missions of Swachh mission, as well as the development of the Awas Yojana of housing for all, and again another major mission, plus also digital cities and heritage cities, another major component. All this put together gives a new twist in the last around 8 years time period from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs on transforming India's urban landscape. We have been needing that population of 100 crores of 2001 has reached over 140 crores by 2021. The census will tell you the exact number on that. But more important, we are adding at the rate of 2 crores every year. We are adding 100 crores in 2001, 121 crores in 2011. That is in about 10 years' time, we are going to 20 crores. And going forward for 2011 to 2021 also, the growth continues to the same way. On that. In any case, the urban population is very important. From 60% urban, become a long way as close as 40% now, and we have 60 crores of 600 million population by 2030. A very important date that we have. So, between all these initiatives that we have, all the cities are making all efforts. Their growth engines, major potential for substantial amount of India's economic development, spatial development, and development. At the same time, they are also run into a lot of challenges and choosing the areas of pollution, protecting the health of the people, the great conditions that we have, and sanitation sector also having a lot of changes in the sector. That's what we sent another area, which is also having major challenges. There's also the Asadeki Amrit also period there, and India Ayog, the highest standing and research body related reforms in urban planning capacity in India and addressing the Shushan School of planning and the great initiative all of you have taken. I'm very happy that the whole thing emphasizes the challenges, including town planning, need for greater policy intervention in urban areas, and also making capacity development for the professionals at the city level. The report realized the need for cities to plan and use the resources in a very right way for ensuring better livability through transport-oriented development and other issues. Urban Green Building Council try to put across. So when I talk of resilience, I talk of the physical infrastructure, manufacturing capacity on theme 1 and 2. Let me now open up on theme 3 and 4. The theme 3 is inclusive transportation system and city planning. And post Paris climate agreement, the greenhouse gas emission reduction is on top priority. Which is not the Department of Heavy Industries is also supporting input towards what we are going to do in the urban space.
मैं 10 बजे से ज्वाइन करेंगे उन्होंने
The past
10 बजे ही ज्वाइन कर लिया था मैंने
charging infrastructure. Now, walk to work is methodology.
हाँ मैं वंदना शर्मा के नाम से ही होंगी
A very, very important area. Of course, pedestrian friendly infrastructure, series of initiatives, and therefore, this is being done with appropriate tree plantation, a good amount of place to walk around, with right signages, adequate spaces and illuminations included. And from our own side, Indian Green Building Council, so we built the green buildings in the initial phase, the cluster level, neighborhood level, including up to city level. And when we did that, mobility was one which was linking from each of the space where you live or work to the space that you want to go. The metro stations in a very large way. All the metro station rating has been done by the ICIRC. It is the first one to come in the whole world. As a matter of fact, even Singapore Green Building Council and Hong Kong Green Building Council depended on our rating system using that. Even the US Green Building Council, after 5 years of our Green Building Council rating on the metro station, has recently adopted a rating system for dealing with that. After the transport-oriented development, you have less and less of the travel component by having integrated holistic development around the TOD nodes, 10 to 15 minutes. There are many initiatives all over the world. Even a 10-minute city, a 15-minute city, or a 20-minute city, so that all economic activity for the people who live and go to work or recreate, whatever, all are available in that system. It practically means that you're reducing the load from transportation in a very large way. But IGBC on its own, as you're aware, has the rating system for not only the mobility component, but all the other aspects of building. Our own green building center is one of the finest components which covers not only the issues related to platinum rated applications for energy management, waste management, water management, I mean, to achieve 10 million square feet or 1,000 crore square feet by 2022 at the end of the year of independence. So it's a collaborative way, and as already indicated, besides what the transportation sector can do, what the spatial planners and physical planners can do for mobility component in a large way, there are a series of initiatives that request to be done there, and because it's a combined effort between the mode of transport along with the multimodal component is also becoming linking with the metro, rail, bus, and other related one. Large number of AMTA is a very interesting one of the Metropolitan Transport Authority, Unified Metropolitan Transport Authority, that is a major initiative. So 50% of all our energy comes from renewable sources, be it on solar or wind or various other options that we have, as against the fossil fuel one. And energy accounts for 70% of India's greenhouse gas emission also. And the Ministry of Environment and Forest has already brought it out. And therefore, we got to ensure all the greenhouse gas emissions are brought down in a very large way. The generation side, government is promoting greener use of renewable energy, the energy mix mainly through solar and wind, and at the same time shifting towards the supercritical technologies for based data. And sustainability is a key element in the architectural profession for the design 21st century as it tackles effort how national, regional, and local governments and organizations, communities, academic institutions, and private sector, and all stakeholders meet on them. That's an important component that will take us forward in a very large way. And what a pleasure it is to address this with the gracious presence of the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rakesh Venkaty, Dr. Sanjeev Sharma, the Registrar, Rita Sajid, as well as Usha, and more importantly, Ashini was my good colleague from the DCP. We have worked for DCP for over 4 decades together, and I'm so happy to hear him the right way for me post, and as DCP continue to work more closely with all stakeholders in building a green and healthy India. Also because the ITBC student chapters are doing excellent work, and we have a number going to about 328 now. That will become around 400 by the end of the year. And for the education institute can have the chapter, you are having igniting the young minds of students of planning, architecture, engineering into all these new component of what I call the 3-in-1 thing of inclusive, resilient, and sustainable development. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to me to address such a distinguished gathering and on a very important day. And congratulations to all of you for taking such a topical theme. It's very relevant for India's national development. Thank you once again.
So that was Dr. V. Suresh, who already had a talk with us yesterday. So we played his video. I will share the text of whatever he has spoken. Sorry, because of the short of time, I have forwarded certain things, but I will share the details definitely with you on one-on-one basis, as well as the recording as well. So now I would request you all to move to your respective rooms as mentioned in your schedule. So our technical support, Ms. Ria, she will help everyone to move to the rooms. I hope everyone knows the rooms. Click on the breakout room and select your room and move to the rooms. If you have any issues, please let us know. I will also request to all the expert speakers who are present here today to please move to their respective breakout rooms. Yes, Sahil?
Ma'am, how should we move to the respective room?
Your voice is not audible. Come again.
Ria, could you help everyone with their rooms? Can you share the links here?
Ma'am, the rooms have been assigned. They will move within, it will take a minute or so. एशा किसमें है एशा किसमें है हाँ रूम 5 ठीक है और प्राची व्यास नहीं पता प्रदीप आर्या प्रीता प्रवीण आर श्रीनिवास को मैं किसी में भी डाल देती हूँ ठीक है
बाकी दोनों देखते अभी टर्की मी त्याला म्हणतो तू थांब तरी टर्कीचं म्हणतो 2-3 दिवस 4 दिवस 5 दिवस wait let the students also you the student see what they responsibility written
So good afternoon, everyone. I'll start this valedictory session, but first let me introduce Mr. Saurabh. He is with us. He's from CII Godrej, IGBC member. So he would like to address the participants, and he will enlighten us about the CII and IGBC work, what they have been doing and how we can be part of it. So sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. First of all, congratulating School of Planning and Development, Sushant University, ICIRC, to focus on the two important aspects, inclusive and resilient cities, and then coming up with beautiful themes on the planning theories and studies, community health, well-being, and livable habitats, inclusive transportation systems and city planning, and fourth on the renewable energy environment. So I feel the major aspects which contributes to the carbon emissions have been already touched through these four important subjects. Planning theories and studies, something we definitely need at this juncture, because this is something where at this point we are saying that we are actually need to plan for the next 2 decades, 20 to 2030, and then 2030 to again to 2050, how we want to plan our cities, and how the challenges that we have today, how these can be converted to more solutions by looking at the opportunities that we have in changing in the master plan, strong policy measures, and the guidance documents which are coming up at a national level, how that can percolate at an individual state level and the urban local bodies. And there are a lot of different capacity building programs already started by the NIUA and the different state level bodies for the urban government and the stakeholders. Academia is taking a lead in this also in reaching out these kind of programs, like one of this we are here today. So I feel a lot of good discussions which happened today, and there's a lot of good thinking it has initiated. It has given us new dimensions to think about our cities, and what are the different problems that we are having today. First, we need to analyze them. What we are missing in the current Indian context, I think that we are immediately coming to the solutions by copying something from the international city. Let's say it's happening there, why not just immediately copy and start doing this in our city? It may not work. It may not work that way. We need to have some good analysis done. So from IGBC, Indian Green Building Council, we have worked in the last 10 years on the subject of greening of the developments, large developments, where the first rating system that we planned was the green township rating system. For the better understanding of all the participants here, townships are not the same what as cities are. Township is something where we want to decongest the city, and then we ask developers to create integrated townships, means residential, commercial, healthcare, educational, all this in the closer proximity, and we have walk to work concept there, so that we create some mini townships away from the city. Because otherwise what is happening, let it be Hyderabad, let it be any Bangalore, when there is a high-tech city or electronic city or some good part of the city is developing, everything start happening there. What happens to the rest of the city, and how the city will grow? City need not grow in one particular location. If the city grows in one particular location, what is the problem that will face is like entire population will start moving in one direction in the morning, start coming back in the same other direction in the evening, and it will actually create a lot more many problems which is happening in Bangalore today. Like 4 hours is the unproductive hours that we have because of the travel time that we spend. So how we can utilize that productive time in a better way, and what planners, like all the planners who have been part of this paper presentations and who have gone deep down into the research of how the densification can be improved. I could be part of some of the discussions on the inclusive and the healthy and livable cities, on the densification on one side, and starting to accommodate the public open spaces and accessibility. That is also one of the key. So I would suggest the most important thing here for our Indian cities is now time to analyze, just analyze and map. and analyze. So I think at a national level also, the data repository and then a lot of things is happening, GIS mapping of the cities and things are happening. We need to see whether that green cover has in the last 10 years or 20 years it has improved or not. Whether the public conveniences that we have created, we want to make our cities slum free, we want to make them identification free city, but whether the public conveniences have increased year on year, whether in the last 10 years, whether we have increased our public conveniences by 10%, whether our public conveniences are inclusive, whether it is a male, female, both are addressed in all the public conveniences, whether it is like London, where it entire thing is mapped as part of the public conveniences at a city scale, what all different kind of public conveniences we had across the city. So somebody goes to the map, he doesn't look for only the road route map from going to one direction. He goes to the map on the Google map. Google has also integrated this to some extent in some of the parts, like where the public convenience is available, what is the cycling route available, fastest vehicle route is not the only thing that we need to find out. We need to find out fastest cycling route also, fastest walkable routes. So some this kind of larger mindset change will happen when the urban planners will start questioning this actually, that why we have not improved our per capita tree cover is today 30 trees per person in India. Global average is 422. We are like much lower. So we need to see which country is doing good. We need to learn only that specific aspect. We may not learn everything what that country is doing and start doing everything in like that country or like that city. We need to take the best practice and start implementing it. To some extent, in IGBC, we have made a very slow, steady progress. By 20 cities, we are working with them now. Around 13, 14 industrial cities and around balance 6, 7 existing cities we are working. So there is a urbanization which is happening at a very higher scale. Everybody is aware, but India is at 35% somewhere. There are many international countries where it is not 35, it is much beyond 50 and higher. Kerala is growing at an urbanization rate that may reach 60% also. It's the highest urbanization rate happening. So it will touch very soon 40% and will be at around 590 million. That is around 60 crore population by our 2030. So we need food for them. So whether our cities, this is the urban population I'm talking about, and this urban population will need food. So means there's a transportation requirement, and which will lead to emissions when we come from agriculture. So whether we are thinking about food security also, urban agriculture, whether it is planned as part of the any master plan or Guwahati master plan, or many of the master plans are looking into this urban agriculture as an aspect. Urban agriculture need not be looked only at a master plan level. It need to be looked at also at aspect of where planners are deciding whether our public open spaces can be some nature-based solutions, can be some urban forestry, there can be some hydroponics and different other concepts which we can bring in, where we can create some different kind of a livelihood opportunities around it also. Urban forestry actually can create some kind of a livelihood also. So there can be a good community engagement which has been proven worldwide. Many of the places like Lebanon and many of the GBCs, green building councils, they're showing it, like children, they are participating there, and then later on when they grow up, they say, I have come back to my city and this is the trees where we were used to play in the in our days when we were in class 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we have grown these trees and these are big trees now. We need the cities to be owned by people, cities to be owned by the children of the cities actually, who are the younger generations, need to start owning the cities and not started thinking that whatever we have done, the waste city is only to just throw all our waste, throw all our garbage. We need to think of owning the cities, and there need to be a lot of different principles need to come out, like cities for children. A lot of concept is saying that why we don't see the city at a 95 centimeter level, what is the children's eye level. If we look at the city, that is the real city that we are seeing actually, whether the children can get into the footpath, whether the children, if children cannot get into the park, means the park is not accessible. If I am on a wheelchair, I meet with an accident and I have to go to the park next door, and that park has got a revolving door which allows one person to go at a time. It means that that person doesn't allow me to go because it has been designed in such a way that it is not universally accessible. Universally accessible is something which we can plan it, and everything doesn't need a high intensive cost. It is just the thinking of the urban designers, planners, and different concepts that when we are deciding the every height and every inch of a city, I think we should think into that, whether we are planning that the people will be able to access every part of it. Berlin is planning for 100% barrier free. In a person is even visually impaired, means he's blind, he can go to the metros, he can come out of the metros, he can go to any part of the city. Singapore, you can see that how the road level to the footpath level to the metro station level and to the metro circulation areas level, all uniformly connected with lifts and other things. So we need to look into those aspects. And then migration is a major thing which is happening at city level. So we need to accommodate them in terms of housing, in terms of the if they are not accommodated properly in the cities, we will create slums. If they are accommodated properly in terms of the proper affordable housing areas, proper market development, proper this, because we need to look at two parts. One, they need to stay, they need to work. So when they need to stay, whether there's a habitable space, we are creating affordable housing policy has also come up, rental scheme has also come up. So globally, in if you look at Hong Kong and many places, it's always there, affordable rental housing. So people stay there, they do the construction activities, they are migrant laborers, they're working, they stay in affordable rental housing, then they go out to the other city and then again stay there. So they are continuously in the move. So the cities need to plan for their housing, cities need to plan for adequate sanitation, because if you see 82% of the waste as a sanitation, the waste is actually going to our rivers or water bodies. It's going untreated. So the thing is, we need to plan that how this 80%, which is actually many places, it is coming from septic tank cleaning. There are septic tank cleaning vehicles which will be plying in the smaller towns, cities, and villages, and then they will bring out all the thing from the septic tank at the night hours and the early morning hours. They will dump into the water bodies somewhere. You will see from the bigger this bridges and other things. They will just dump all the fecal matter into the drains, or they will be dumping it somewhere. Will be going along the Raja streets from one city to other city. Along the both sides of the roads, you will see there is a lot of black matter which is left. It's all fecal matter which has been dumped suddenly, and so we need to see how we can bring all into the formal sector. It is not that everything will be a networked sewage treatment plant. We need to have 10 solutions. India doesn't need one solution. India need 10 solutions, and all the solutions will do 10%, 5%. Even if I talk about not waste management but transportation sector, it is not that India needs EV. India needs EV to certain extent. India needs shared mobility also, where a part of the road can be given to the cyclists. There should be malls and transit stations having the EV charging stations. There has to be the fleet of buses with 10%, 20%. Slowly, the fleet should go electric buses. So, like in Hyderabad airport, that fleet is electric fleet. So we can start with some smaller fleet, understand the cost dynamics, and then improvise it. So there are a lot of things that we can think of. Actually, the cities are growing, and there are a lot of challenges we discussed today also. But the good news I would like to share is that there is a good job opportunities which will be there in the construction sector. Whoever are in the construction sector, planning and the city urban design and city planning, they have a huge scope, because it is said that India is 70% of India is yet to be built, and it will be built by all who are now sitting in this meeting today. Many of you will be part of larger infrastructure projects. There are $1 trillion investments coming into the infrastructure, into the city missions. So a lot of things are there. It is said that we are growth rate is to the extent of 8%, the real estate growth, but it may go beyond 10% also. And around 100 billion square foot will be the footprint of in terms of the green buildings that we are seeing. It is increasing by 2040, and then market potential of this green products is also increasing. So the products required for this cities also, the green transport, green infrastructure, the green buildings. There's a huge market of $400 billion US dollars. So there's a huge opportunity which is there. So we need to just capitalize on that. Whatever we design and whatever we plan can be green. So green is the only sure way forward that we have for the future generations. That's what I wanted to say. And apart from this, IGBC, you might be all aware, IGBC has got many engagement opportunities where the training programs are there. Student chapters are there, including the Sushant University and Sushant School of Planning. So there are many student chapters where the students get engaged, get access to the industry, what industry actually need, what are the subjects in demand, what are the areas there is a focused research required, where I can see that a lot of good research already happened. If this also can be shared with IGBC, we will also like to see what are the detailed insights coming from each of these paper presentations, and then take out something, and then you can invite even some of the papers to be presented in some of the different webinars and the sessions that we do. So when something is happening at Surat, the person speaking on Surat can come and talk about what is the basic understanding on Surat, because we have the city-wide chapters also, around 20 29 chapters we have, around 30 chapters, sorry. And now we have started the Patna chapter also. So there are many chapters which are also there where they are focused on the city level challenges, issues, and their plan is to have the green building movement at a city scale, at a state scale. So how there is a lot of work required on the, I would say, the policy related activities. There can be some insights which we can take from there. There can be something on the technology which will play a major role in future. The BIM is coming up in building information modeling, and there is coming of IoT as a concept for the city wise improvisations. And then there is a new design approaches and paradigm shift is happening. Green education will be some of the key thing where the government of India is now focusing. Green education and the research, these are the two domains which will be the next 2 decades will be the biggest focus and biggest thrust will be there. So I think the educational institution and academia will play a major role there. And then technologies, it is change is happening by the day. Actually, by the day we can see there are a lot of new concepts and innovations are coming in every aspect. Pick up the smallest thing also, you will find even for sweeping of the road, there can be n number of technologies which are now available, practiced worldwide. And then we need to think of, we know what are the problems. We know the cities are dug by different kind of departments. Sometimes it is happening for sewer, sometimes they are dug for the storm water, sometimes they are dug for the this fiber optic lines. And so there is always some so we need to have a common body where they can focus on transports, like you say, unified metropolitan transport authority, where the concept has come up for Hyderabad, Bangalore, different cities are looking into it. We need to have similarly unified metropolitan water authority also, so that water related things keep on. They should not start one person coming and digging for one activity, then you know what happened by the. But so it is the situation now is the left hand doesn't know what right hand is doing. So that way cities are getting into the chaos. So academia need to come up with some strong solutions and recommendations where many cities will be transforming. Like the cities need to have a department of public open spaces, whether department of I think department of health need to focus on this, or under health also they need to focus on what are the different hierarchy they plan for the public open spaces. So for the students there's a lot more opportunities to learn. And from the larger linkages between the government, industry, and a lot of MOUs. I think every day there are 10 MOUs getting signed in India. We have also signed MOU with AICT, Council of Architecture. We have signed MOU with CREDAI, IIID, all the key bodies which are there. There's a lot of different thinking is coming up based on the lot of research and learnings from the industry. So from IGBC, I would like to say that it was a good opportunity as we have invited us for this interesting paper presentation. So a very big thanks to all the presenters. Could not listen to all of them as it was parallel, and I could listen to some of them. So very good work done. All the best to all the presenters, and hope to meet you in the field. When we are working with many of the cities, definitely we need to interact with a lot of you and take your insights. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, for all the information that you have given. And I will be definitely chasing you for all the things that you have told right now for the students. So now I will move ahead with the session. A very good afternoon to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Conference Chair and Director of School of Planning and Development, Guest of Honor, dignitaries, Dr. P.K. Sarkar, Professor Sai Ram, Mr. Himanshu Chandra, Architect Apurv Garg, Ms. Ridhima Sehgal, and Dr. T.S. Barar, and a big thanks to all the delegates, faculty members, and my dear students. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks for ICIRC 2022, the first international conference on inclusive and resilient cities for sustainable future. On behalf of organizing committee of ICIRC and on my own behalf, I extend a very hearty vote to thank to all the speakers for gracing their important work and sharing with us their findings and opinions today. First and the foremost, our heartfelt thanks goes to the conference patron, Dr. Rakesh Ranjan, and his support and encouragement. I would like to express my profound gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sushant University, and co-patron, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Sharma, for guiding us from very beginning and sharing his experience, which helped us to make this event a success. I take this opportunity to extend our most sincere thanks to conference chairperson, Professor Preetha Ravishri, for her support, encouragement, and hour-to-hour guidance. A big thanks to our keynote speaker and guest of honor, Dr. R. Srinivas, for his effort and guidance. I cannot thank everyone enough for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of the task beyond their comfort zone. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to state that we all are most grateful to all the speakers. My sincere thanks to IGBC official Mr. Saurav for taking out time and being part of the event and sharing all the important information with us. I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to Sushant University's IT department and back office support. My sincere thanks to Ms. Ishani Garg for her support as a creative partner. I thank Dr. Himadri for helping me in organizing the presentation. I thank Professor Ankita for helping me in scheduling of the presentation, and Professor Leena for organizing and notes of the conference. Last but not the least, I would like to thank Ms. Riya Kapoor for helping me all the things for the media organization. I also extend my thanks to Vidya Kutir Publisher for publishing our conference proceedings. Last but not the least, I thank all the members of organizing committee, my co-faculty members, our dear students for working hard, supporting and helping each other as a strong team in every possible way to make this conference a grand success. Special thanks to Paras, Sheena, Naman, Swati, Varanya, Varun, Shananda, Garima, Anshuman, and Elora. We thank you for being with us. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you very much. So Preetha ma'am, now with your due permission, can we close the conference now?
Yes. I hope this session was enjoyed by everyone. Thank you all the participants and all the researchers, scholars, and I think we can close the session now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the conference is declared as closed.